Today on the channel we are driving this 2015 Ram Laramie. Big thank you to First International Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire for lending me this truck. Before we get out on the road, let's check out the exterior. So in front of us we have a crew cab Laramie Limited, which has a 5.5-foot bed. Of course, this one has the Hemi 5.7 liter V8, which makes 395 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque. As you can see all over this truck, we have tons of chrome, including this unique grille, which is limited to the Laramie. Side profile of this truck is pretty nice. As you can see here, we have 20-inch chrome wheels. We have these side steps that run from basically the entire cab. Of course, they're really going to help you get in here because this cab is pretty high up. I'm 5'9", which, I'm not a very tall guy, but I struggle to get in this truck. In the back of this truck, of course, we have a cover for the 5.5-foot bed. We have these custom exhaust tips, which, I think mufflers back. I believe this is all custom. Just listen to the exhaust note. So sitting behind myself in these back seats, I'm 5'9", and I have ample amounts of legroom. I have about 2.5 inches of headroom, which is plenty for me. If you're a taller guy, you might have a hard time sitting back here. We do have heated seats, we have vents. Also, 2 USB ports, which might come in handy. Though my favorite part about these back seats is we have these little satchel things behind our driver's seats, which is really cool because it actually has a buckle and it's very high quality leather. As far as cup holders, we have 2 here and then 2 on the floor. I would worry if I had kids, if they have open drinks, I would definitely encourage them to put them here. If you have them on the floor right there, they're definitely going to spill, but these cup holders are pretty deep. The 2015 Ram 1500 Laramie Limited was available with 3 engine options. They had a 3-liter V6 diesel, they had a 3.6-liter V6, and then of course the 5.7-liter V8, which is featured here. Paired to is an 8-speed automatic torque flight transmission. So for you truck nerds, we have a 10,000-pound towing capacity and a 1,500-pound payload, which is pretty good, and honestly, I think this truck can get all of it. There is 2 optional axle ratios. There's a 3.21 and then I believe it's a 3.97, or no, I'm sorry, a 3.92. They do say that the 3.92 axle ratio is better for towing and also lends itself to a better 0 to 60 time of 6.4 seconds. It is nice to have the added acceleration as well as more confidence in your towing. So of course this is a 2015 truck, so we do not have Apple CarPlay, but we do have Bluetooth. Our infotainment screen is pretty simple to use. It's a very large touchscreen for the time. So dating back to 2015, this truck had an original MSRP of just above $53,000. List price at First International Auto Group is $23,000. Of course, this example has 104,000 miles on it and is in fairly good shape. So of course the Laramie Limited had a lot of standard features, including heated and cooled seats. We have a heated steering wheel as well. We have a sunroof. And one thing I found very interesting is we have air suspension. The reason for that is you can manually lower the car via these little buttons here. And lowering the truck allows you to get things into that the truck bed easier. So if you are lifting something quite heavy, you're going to want it on the lowest setting. Of course, if you need the added ground clearance, you can manually raise the truck. Though they mention, Ram specifically mentions, that it'll stiffen your ride quality a little bit. So you can really feel the 395 horsepower working for this truck. Of course, it's quite a large vehicle, so you're going to need a lot of power to move it, and I totally understand why someone would order the V8 Hemi instead of that 3.6-liter V6. My first impressions of this interior is I just love how it's designed. The stitching that runs across the dashboard, all of the high quality materials in here, especially on the door cards. But my favorite thing, however, are these floor mats. I think it's just a really nice touch for the Laramie. The gauge cluster has a nice design to it as well. We have analog tachometer and speedometer. We do have a little digital screen in the middle, which you can change your settings and whatnot using this little button on our steering wheel. Fuel economy for this giant truck is rated 15 city, 24 highway. I doubt we're going to get anywhere close to that even on the highway. I just think that these aggressive tires, this V8, really lends itself to being a non-fuel efficient truck. I mean, even right now we're averaging 9.5 miles per gallon, so no surprise there. I think if you had some less aggressive road tires, you definitely get better fuel economy in here, but I think the truck looks better with these off-road tires. I think they fit it really well. And of course, I'm sure these chrome rims are heavy too. The driver's position in here, you sit really tall. Of course, you do have an ample amount of, greenhouse in here. You can see out of your side windows. You have these large mirrors that help with blind spots, and of course, blind spot monitoring too. I will say that this hood is quite giant, so if you're trying to park this thing in a tight space, you're not really going to see where those lines are. I do appreciate when you put it in reverse with this truck, the mirrors aim down, making sure you don't curb these nice chrome wheels. So there's plenty of storage up front here. We have this giant center console, which you could probably fit a couple laptops in here. It's just crazy how big it is. But with these Ram trucks, what else are you going to do with this space? All right, so let's approach the worst road in Merrimack, New Hampshire at about 20 miles an hour and see how this truck handles. Although you can definitely hear those large bumps, it really does get absorbed by the suspension system and these meaty tires. Very impressed with how this truck handles larger road imperfections. So while we're stopped, let's throw it in reverse. Pretty low resolution backup camera, but hey, it gets the job done. As I said before, the mirrors point down so you avoid curbing these nice rims. So one of my favorite features about this Ram 1500 is the Alpine speaker system. These things just rock. I think they're a phenomenal speaker system. I wish more cars had Alpines. I mean, you see more Bose and Bang & Olufsen in cars nowadays, so, don't sleep on Alpine. All right, let's take a listen to this exhaust. Pretty gnarly. I do also appreciate the pickup in this truck. I feel like that 0 to 60 time of 6.4 seconds would be doable, especially if this has the 3.92 axle ratio. So to conclude my thoughts on this 2015 Ram Laramie Limited with the 5.5 foot bed and of course the crew cab is I'm very impressed with the ride quality. The steering is light and very truck-like, almost feels very vague. But however, everything else as far as inputs, like the quality of the buttons in here, the ride quality over low grade bumps and higher grade bumps, and of course the fact we have keyless entry, push button start. We have a very nice exhaust system for this specific 1500. And these Alpine speakers plus the moonroof. I just feel like overall this is a very nice package if someone is looking for, a daily drive truck, something to take them to and from the job site. This thing is really going to get it done for you. With that being said, I'd be very interested to see how it compares to, the competitive Ford F-150 of the same year. I have yet to drive one of those, but I have driven a 2016 Toyota Tundra, and frankly, this would be my pick. I know Toyota really does have that track record of being more reliable, but I do feel like Rams hold their own, especially with the Hemi truck engines. I just feel like they have a nice reputation of being reliable. I know there is one issue with the exhaust manifold in these trucks being a common maintenance item. So if you get that sorted out, you should have no problems with this Hemi going forward. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, and of course, follow me on Instagram where you can receive updates for future videos. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.